Hi, we're back from our trip, and I'm going to share with you what I used and what I didn't use. Stick around. Hi, I'm Bill Booz, and this is Photography and Technology Tools, and a follow-up video to the video I did a couple weeks ago just before we left on a 12-day trip. We went out to the West Coast and visited San Diego for a couple days, and then took a cruise down the Mexican Baja coast. So we were 7 weeks on a ship, and we only got off at one port and didn't get off at the other port, so pretty much my photography was limited to on the ship, which was fine because I was using that for this year's 2017 52-week project. The week that we were on the ship was to be images taken from a cruise ship. So this is my VanQuest Sketch 12, and as I called it before, it's my transport bag. So I had everything in it, and this is about how big it was. Well, it is exactly how big it was. I've taken a couple things out, but that doesn't fill it out anymore. And a couple things to point out. This back pocket I mentioned is where I put my reflectors for the flash and so on. But it's also a perfect place for carrying documents, passports, and boarding passes, and things like that. And just another little quick tip. I always take a freezer-sized Ziploc bag in my carry-on bag, and just before getting to the TSA security check-through at the airports, I take everything out of my pockets and put them in the bag, zip it up, and I can just put that on the scanner or put it in one of their little trays, but I don't leave anything in the trays then, as sometimes happens. But that's just a little side tip. And it turns out that this side pocket that I pointed out in my last video, which can accommodate a water bottle or even a large lens or a small lens, was perfect for my little red bag, which, as I said before, has necessities for my hearing aids and so on. So I always take this out when I get on a plane, and it has the things that I need when I'm on the plane. I've already taken some things out because I've needed my camera and things since we got home. I never used my Saramonic mic, although I did spend some time writing up scripts for upcoming episodes of my Learning Photography series, and I at one point thought, well, I'll find a quiet place in the ship and set up my camera with the Lollipod and record maybe an episode or two, because I had the mic and everything to do that. But I decided not to. It really irritates me when people are in quiet areas and they're on their phone. So being on, making a recording would be even worse. I did use this this Anker 4-port USB charger. It's a great thing, and as I had mentioned before, there's always a European plug on the ships we go on anyway, so as well as US plugs. So I had the adapter for this, and I used that to plug this in, and it freed up the other ports for my wife's curling iron and for a hairdryer and so on. I never used the Lollipod, but again, doesn't take up much space. This fits right in there. I did use my Houdini. My Houdini always, it's a perfect thing to always have with you, a windbreaker that folds up like this small. So for cool evenings when we were outside, I could wear that with a sweater, and it was great. Okay, so picking up the Lowepro Streamline 250. So in some ways, I could have gone just with this. And some of you will say, well, why didn't you? Or, that's what I do. But there's still a little bit of that just in case in my brain that I can't get over. So I'm not displeased that I took what I took. One thing I did not use was the TG Tracker. And I would take it again. I will always take it with me, because if the occasion arises, it would be a cool thing to have to make time-lapse videos, or just anything at a wide angle would be really handy for. As I'm thinking about it now, one of the things they did at two of the ports is the side of the ship that was not against the dock. They had lifeboat exercises with the boats, and that would have been kind of an interesting time-lapse to do. So anyway, that never came out to be used. I did use the plug, so as I said, using one plug for three things is great. And this is the HandlePod support for the EM5 for any camera, and including a DSLR. If you have a DSLR, it's a great investment, or my iPhone. So I did have the shoulder pod, and I did use the shoulder pod with my iPhone 7, or my iPhone 7 Plus, and because I did do some recording when we were in San Diego along the harbor where the Midway ship is, and people playing music and blowing bubbles and all sorts of things. So that was nice to have, and I can use it in conjunction with this, as I pointed out before. And of course my EM5 Mark II with the 12-40 lens on it. I use that again probably 90% of the time, as I said I usually do. So the EM5 was a workhorse for me, and I have a Boss strap that I can use with this tail when I have my hands free. Although usually I just use the tail as a grip, as a wrist strap, so that I'm safe. If I have the camera over the side of the ship and it falls, I'm gonna be able to get a hold of it. So that worked out fine. I took the 45 millimeter and the 12-32 and the body cap lens. I didn't use the body cap, but I did use the 35-100 because, as I said, we only got off the ship once, and then we didn't get off at any of the other ports. So when we were there, if there was something interesting at the harbor, I would use the 35-100 to take those pictures. And that is pretty much it. Of course, I had batteries in here for the EM5. I had the charger in the little black bag that I showed you before for the EM5 batteries, EM5 Mark II batteries, and I did have to charge those a couple times, even though I think I had about four batteries with me. So this is pretty much what I used. You know, my iPhone, the handle pod, the shoulder pod, the 35-100, the 12-40 on my EM5 Mark II, and that is it. So, am I disappointed that I took too much? No, because this bag is not that difficult to carry, and it does give me the just in case security that I like to always have. Could I go with just this bag? Yes. We're going on another trip in a little while. Not anything of the magnitude of this one, but I'll probably still take this bag because I just like to have those other things with me because sometimes something that you're planning doesn't happen, and so you can fill in the time. You know, I could use the microphone and the wireless setup to do a recording, but it worked out fine, and I'm satisfied. So that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's what it's really all about. You got to be happy with what you're carrying, and you got to make sure that you've got what you feel you need. Will there be a time when I'll take the EM5 and the EM1? Yeah, probably so. In fact, on this next trip, I might do that because then I could do some recording of episodes for the series while I'm someplace else. I was going to use the iPhone as a recording mechanism, but it would be nicer to be able to record it on one of my mirrorless cameras. So, again, thank you very much for checking in, and I hope that this was helpful to you. And stay tuned. I'm going to be working on my next video for this series on my EM5 Mark II and what I've come to really like about it, and if there's anything that I find that I don't like. So check back in a little while. Thank you very much for tuning in. Goodbye.